So good morning to everybody joining us on the live stream from Tollcross here in Glasgow, Scotland for the British Para-Swimming International meet. It's day 4 of what had already been an exceptionally good meet here in the Commonwealth pool. We're going to hand over to our host for this weekend's activities in a couple of moments. Remember, you at home and you in the crowd, we want your tweets. Hashtag BPS IM14. Send them in to us. Take a picture of yourself in the venue, or if you're watching it at home on this bank holiday weekend, send us a selfie. That's one for the Americans. Might do 2 in a minute. Let's go and see Kate Gray.
Well, Alan, you're not wrong about it being a great week of racing. We've seen British records, European records, and even a world record last night from Stephanie Slater and Bethany Firth, been on world-class performances as well. Have we got some similar performances coming up this morning, Paul?
Well, you mentioned Bethany Firth. She is going to be in the first event, the 200 freestyle for women, and she's going to be up against the world record holder, Jessica Jane Applegate, so that's going to be a real fight between these two. Bethany Firth has been in fantastic form, as you said, record-breaking form all week. She may start a slight favourite against the Paralympic champion and world record holder, and that's going to be a good one to watch, 200 freestyle for women.
And then what I class is probably the toughest race. I could never do the 400. I don't know about you, Paul, but the 400 freestyle is coming up after that. Who's the brave swimmers taking on that race?
Well, I like the 400, Kay. It's good when you're fit, the 400, when you're not fit.
I'm not fit.
No. Well, you know, we saw you yesterday. You're fit over the sprint distances, maybe not the 400. Again, number of people to watch out for. There is a lot of people still to qualify, a lot of big names. Tully Kearney, World Championship bronze medalist from last year. She's trying to make her time in the 400 freestyle. We'll see Hannah Russell in again, the 400. Rob Wellborn, the medalist from Great Britain in the last 3 Paralympic Games at 400 freestyle. He goes in the 400 event for men. So watch out for Rob. He'll be excellent to watch in the 400.
Well, thanks, Paul. You're going to be in the commentary box, so you do not want to get anywhere because the racing is coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to poolside your referees and their team of technical officials. The referees for this session are Susan Coe and David Metcalf. Your starters for this session, Martin Noble and Dave Harmon. Officials, you may be seated. So it's the final day, and luckily enough, you've seen him on screen, you've seen him on poolside, and I get to stand next to him all day. It's Paul Noble.
You don't sound too enthusiastic about that prospect, huh?
Well, that's because you've got an Easter egg, and I haven't. Let's move on to our first event of day number 4. This is the women's 200-metre freestyle heat number 1.
The other way for the first heat of the women's 200 metres freestyle. It's 4 swimmers taking this one. It's Katie Nisbet in 3, Marlou van der Kolk in 4, Valerie Shabalina in 5, and Sukman Tang in lane 6. Straight away, Alan. Big names, Marlou van der Kolk in lane number 4, Netherlands swimmer.
The Dutch swimmers have been performing exceptionally well. People like Mark Havers had some very good swims. For Summer Ashley Mortimer. So been impressing here during our British Paris Swimming International meet. And here we are in heat 1 of the 200 metre freestyle. We have 3 heats of these. Right, Jessica Jane Applegate and Magda Totes coming up in the next heat. And Bethany Firth, Chloe Davies coming up in heat number 3. But here, the lead is with Marlou van der Kolk. Not a lot in it. Valeria Shabalina. We saw her swim yesterday morning. No entry time in that event, and she blitzed the field. Here, she has an entry time. That is 2:17.00 at the moment, though. She'll better that if she keeps hanging on to Marlou van der Kolk. Got a special mention for Kaylee Haggle. She's down on the front row somewhere. Kaylee Haggle, she sent us a tweet this morning, didn't she, Paul?
She did. When we were on our way here, said she had something special for you and I, Alan. She turned up with this big Easter egg this morning. Excellent. That's what we like.
Whilst we're happy with the Easter egg, Kate Gray is very upset she wasn't included in it.
That's right. She did comment on that.
And to be honest, we're not going to share it with her either, so that's not going to help much either. So there you go. Coming in underneath the scoreboard end here at Tollcross. In lane 5 it is Shabalina, 2:17.03. Just 3/100ths outside of that entry time that we've got. Coming in just after that, 821. I'll tell you what, Paul, we've talked about the standard being high all week so far. An 851 in heat 1 on the last day. That's pretty good.
That is good. 1,000 points, equivalent to a world record swim. And if you get up into the 800-point range, that is a very good standard indeed. And Shabalina, she looked good in those last couple of lengths there, coming up alongside Marlou van der Kolk, former world champion from Eindhoven in 2010 at the World Championships then. Of course, European Championships back in Eindhoven this summer. So Shabalina confirmed as the winner of the first heat. We move on now to the second heat, heat number 2.
Away we go. Full lineup from 0 to 9 here. Emma Warrington, Lucy Chenery, Yun Ying Chow, Colburn Steffensdottir, Jessica Jane Applegate, Magda Totes, Anita Hoskafsson-Dottir, Hyung Huang, Seeling Cho, and Pin Zhu Yip. Cleaning the lineup, athletes from Iceland, Netherlands, Hong Kong and Singapore in this one. They head down towards the scoreboard end here at Tollcross to make the touch at halfway in this 200 freestyle. Keep your tweets coming. Already we've started with the selfies. This is what I like. Mike Robinson, that's 3, by the way, coach of the United States. That's 3 times I've said it already. Selfie with 3 people in it, and the man behind looks like he's asleep. So somebody give him a nudge. Have a look on our timeline. Hashtag BPSIM14. Take a look at the picture that's coming from Mike Robinson of the Burnley Bobcats. Ready today. The sleeping photo bomber behind them. So keep your tweets coming. Plenty of support coming in from right around the world. Marga says, good morning, go Dutchies. Keep the tweets coming. Coming into the turn here, the only S3 swimmer in this one, Paul, Pinju Yip. She'll turn here at halfway in lane number 9.
Yeah, 200 freestyle is an event in the Paralympic programme for the S14 class and for the lower numerical classification, so only class 1 to 5 to the 200 freestyle in the Paralympic programme, with the exception of the S14 class, so only selected number of classifications doing this one. Paralympic champion and world record holder Jessica Jane Applegate looking very comfortable indeed as she comes into the finish there. And that 842 points is just about half a second behind the swimmer in that first heat, Shabalina. But that will be comfortably enough to get the world champion and Paralympic champion a place in the final this evening. 2:17.57, it looked pretty relaxed, didn't it, Alan?
Yeah, nice and comfortable. Jessica Jane, very relaxed. And in that time, getting 842, 7:51 just behind there for Magna Totes. Coming towards home then in 8. This is Zi Ling Chu. Yeah, swimmer from Singapore. Entry time 3:05. She's going to be slightly outside of that. And as we said, Pinju Yip, the only S3 swimmer in this, has done her halfway turn and starts to head down towards the video board there in lane number 9. Your shot of lane 9 on the big screen is slightly better than our vantage point, so we'll take a look at that. Yip coming in and making that turn. And that's lane 0 finishing as well. So well done, Emma Warrington. There you can see Pinju Yip starting to head back towards home here, Paul.
Yeah, the Singapore swimmer in the S3 class. Remember, S1 to S10 are for swimmers with a physical disability. S1 being the most severe impairment and S10 being the least impaired. The S1 to S5s, of course, do this 200 freestyle. The S6 to S10 will do the 400 freestyle later, and the S11 to 13 too. But Pinju Yip, she is still showing a good rhythm here. She's coming into the final 10 metres here. Pinju Yip, Paralympic champion from Beijing, from Singapore. Real popular winner there in Beijing. I remember it very well the night that she won. She finishes strongly there in a time of 4:47.94, Pinju Yip, and that is just a second outside her entry time of 4:46.
Great to see her teammate, her compatriot Zi Chu in lane 8 as Pinju Yip was coming in. Ling Chu was giving her some support and encouragement, shouting away. So nice to see that as these athletes make their way out of the pool from heat number 2. Good swims, you can see by the official scoreboard, it's Jessica Jane Applegate's time of 2:17.57, clocking 842 points. 850s in the first, 840 tops the second. The ladies in heat number 3 know what they've got to do, so let's move on and see what they can do.
Well, look at that start from lane number 4. Bethany Firth right up and into her stroke here. Some fantastic performances from her right the way through these last 3 days of competition. She is on fantastic form. Bethany Firth heads Chloe Davis, lanes 4 and 5. Full lineup is Sarah Pashud in 0, Daniel Harton in 1, Charlotte Harton in 2, Regan Doig in 3, Bethany Firth in 4, Chloe Davis in 5, Janina Savelsberg in 6, Chu Fang Tang in 7, Amy McFarlane in 8, and the only swimmer who is not in the S14 class is Teresa Goh from Singapore. She is an S5 swimmer and she swims in the outside lane, lane number 9. And we saw Jessica Jane Applegate, world record holder in a time of 209.88, go in that previous heat, and Bethany Firth is significantly faster there, 101.72. I can tell you, Alan, 3 seconds inside world record pace.
Well, she's already having a fantastic weekend here, and Kate Gray has had the pleasure of interviewing a couple of times Bethany Firth, and if she keeps this up, she'll be doing it again in the finals tonight. Seeing what she has to say, and as Paul's saying, ladies and gentlemen, well inside world record pace here. So are we about to see another world best time from Bethany Firth here in the Commonwealth Pool of Tollcross? It's the final day of what has been 3 full weeks of fast racing here at Tollcross. The Scottish national champs, the British champs, and now the British Para Swimming International meet. And Bethany Firth here, Paul, is motoring home.
Well, 209.88 was Jessica Jane Applegate's time. This is going to be mighty close to that one, and it's inside the time. 208.15, another world best time for Bethany Firth, and what a competition she is having. 1,041 points for Bethany Firth. That is a sensational swim.
Well, as we said, she's been doing it for the first 3 days, and she's done it on day 4 as well. Wonderful swim coming in and just behind. Great performance from Chloe Davies there. 870 points for Chloe, so by no means a shabby swim that. 870. 764 for Regan Doig, 222.07. And here in 8 is finishing is McFarlane. And we've got Teresa Goh in lane number 9, closest to us. We've also got Sarah Bichaud in lane 0 as well. Another good swim, Paul.
Bethany Firth looks absolutely fantastic, doesn't she? 208.15. She was a gold medalist in the London Paralympic Games for Ireland in 100 backstroke. Gold medalist in London was Jessica Jane Applegate for the Great Britain team. Bethany Firth now moved over to compete for GB. So we'll expect to see her in future internationals alongside Jessica Jane Applegate. That promises to be real good battle going forward in the future. Bethany Firth is rewriting the record books here at these competitions. 208.15. Fantastic swim from Bethany.
Finishing there is the swimmer in lane 9 from the Singapore, Teresa Goh. 3:38 entry time, 3:29 for Sarah Bichaud on the far side, but it's 3:56.15 for Goh, 3:39 on the points. But they are 3 heats of the women's 200-metre freestyle. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause for all of the ladies that have took part in the 200-metre freestyle event this morning. I think saying very good swims doesn't do it justice. Some fantastic swims. And right at the top there of Heat 3 on the scoreboard, you can see a world best time from Bethany Firth, 104.1 in points. Now let's move on to the men's events, the heats of the men's 200-metre freestyle. 5 of these to come. This is heat number 1.
Move on to men's 200-metre freestyle heat 1. Curtis Lovejoy in lane 2. Miguel Martinez Toelo in 3. Callum Hodgson in 4. Michael Schoenmaker in 5. Jameri Siga completes the lineup in lane number 7. Again, similar to the women's event, 200 freestyle for men. He's only competed on the Paralympic and World Championship programme by swimmers in the lower numerical classes S1 to S5. Swimmers in S6 through to 13, they'll compete. Their distance freestyle event is 400 freestyle. And the S14 swimmers, they also compete in the 200 freestyle event at World and Paralympic Championships. Michael Schoenmaker gone out well in lane number 5, but leading at the moment, Callum Hodgson in lane number 4. He is an S14 swimmer, and he looks like he's going to lead them through to halfway.
So coming towards the video board here. Tweet from Natasha Cuthbert just says, tired. That's fair enough. You're allowed your opinion. And Megan Atkinson, we've got a tweet from Megan Atkinson from the dog, the house dog. It says, quick self from Lola the dog. Keep them coming in. Hashtag BPSIM14. That's our second dog selfie of these last 4 days. There was an open forum with Chris Ferber and Rob Greenwood yesterday. I know Chris would like to say thank you to those that came along. It was all very good. Apparently he didn't get everybody a cup of tea, but never mind. It was a very enjoyable open forum, so Chris said he would like to say thank you to all of those that took the time to go and meet Chris and Rob Greenwood here in the venue yesterday. So thank you to all those that went to that open forum. Here, underneath the video board, turning in lane 4, Callum Hodgson.
It's going to be a bit spread out there. Curtis Lovejoy, you'll see, just going through halfway, the S2 swimmer, and he's just about going to be caught up by the other swimmers here. They come into the finish. Callum Hodgson in lane number 4. Jameri Siga also going well in lane number 7. Callum Hodgson, I think, is going to be the man to finish first, just over the 3-minute mark, 3:01.92 for Callum Hodgson. Jameri Siga, well, we didn't have an entry time for Jameri Siga from Malaysia, but he's finished in 3:04.10. Michael Schoenmaker, good time from him, 3:11.90. That is a very good time from the Netherlands swimmer, and he will earn the most points so far.
Yeah, 3:11.90. Sure, one of our favourite tweeters, Chantal Hunaka, will be letting us know how the Dutch team are getting on here. Coach Dave from the States keeps us up to date with what's going off over there. And Curtis Lovejoy just going past the 25-metre red markers as he heads down towards the video board end. Coming in to finish here in 3 is Martinez Tejulo. 563 points for that swim from the S3 category swimmer. So that's a good points total. Schoenmaker's 769. Then it's Tejulo's 563. Siga with a 504. Curtis Lovejoy heading down towards the video board. 50 to go at this turn then, Paul.
Yeah, Martinez Toelo from Spain. He was the man who won 5 silver medals at the World Championships last year. And he's under the 4-minute mark there, 3:57.86. So one of the big names in Spanish swimming. One of the big names in USA swimming over the last decade or so. In fact, decade and more. Curtis Lovejoy, one of the oldest swimmers here at these championships. I mentioned his age before. Curtis Lovejoy and Sebastian Rodriguez, both 57 years of age, still taking part in these championships. We're not sure who's the oldest.
You.
Oh, well,
I was emphatic, by the way.
No comment. I'm excluding myself.
I was an emphatic answer. Pool. You asked me who was oldest. You. It's nice and simple. Lovejoy coming down towards the markers, just in front of his compatriots, the American team on the front row, looking on. I wonder who's winning the poll on how many times we're going to say selfie today. Not sure. Coach Dave questioning us yesterday, but Lovejoy striving towards home here. The entry time, 5:34.00. Paul's just posted his picture of him receiving an Easter egg from Kaylee Haggle. That's Paul's selfie. You're nearly smiling there, Paul, in that picture. Get yourself on the Twitter feed, BPSIM14. Here comes Lovejoy then. Final 5 metres. We're into the 6-minute marker, so well past his entry time here this morning. We'll take a look as they come to the touch. The Paralympic finalist comes in a 6:12.65. Some way out of that 5:47.15 that he did at the Paralympics in London. So, a long meet. Our last day swim for Lovejoy finishes in a 6:12. But well done for Michael Schumacher. 769 points being top for him. 3:11.90. As these athletes clear the pool. Don't forget, get yourself on the live stream voting system. Just to the right-hand side of where the live stream image is, you'll find the vote that we need you to take part in. Who was the best GB performer from day 3? Stephanie Slater, John Fox, Susie Rogers, James Hollis and Hannah Russell. James Hollis has got 33%, of which 32% of that has come from Emma Hollis, I'm sure. But keep voting. Get your votes in. We'll move on here to heat number 2.
Heat 2 sees Lachlan Macbeth in lane 0, Andrew Mullen in lane 1, Roy Perkins in 2, Scott Cleaver in lane number 3. Weight 8 in 4, Gareth Orr in 5, Jack Sheffield in 6, Sebastian Rodriguez in 7, James Scully in 8, and Takayuki Suzuki in lane number 9. So we have 4 S14s in the centre of the pool. Lachlan Macbeth also an S14 in lane 0, and all the others are in the S5 class. And some pretty big names in the S5 swimmers here. It'll be interesting to see who comes out on top in that S5 battle. Andrew Mullen, Roy Perkins, Sebastian Rodriguez, James Scully, Takayuki Suzuki, all medalists at the major championships in the S5 classification. Of course, these heats are time-seeded. We expect the S14 swimmers to be ahead of the S5s, with more ability than the S5 swimmers. But we'll wait and see the points totals to see if any of those S5 swimmers can come in ahead of the S14s. I suspect they might, because they are quality swimmers in those S5 classification.
You're right about the standard of the field. Perkins a world silver, Scully a world bronze, Rodriguez a para silver. So plenty of ability all across the pool. So at the moment, though, Gareth Orr swimming here in lane 5, City of Peterborough. Entry time 2:27.47 for Gareth. Well, we're looking to get somewhere around that as they come through the 25 metres to go marker. Message coming in. Mark Hansen says, go Lavana Hansen. Robert Nesbitt says, wow, world record time this morning. What will we see in the finals tonight? Indeed. Robert Nesbitt couldn't agree more. Here at the touch, 2:29.17. Bang on 500 points score for Gareth Orr, beating in the host of S14 swimmers we have here. Waitau coming in there in 4. 4:37 for Jack Sheffield. Loads of Twitter love for Jack Sheffield in the last few days. 367 for Lachlan Macbeth. Here come some of the S5 guys now. 6:12, Roy Perkins just touching out Andrew Mullen out there in 1 and 2. Rodriguez getting 633 just in front of the both of them. And then in comes Suzuki and Scully in the 3:04 and 3:05 times respectively. So the official results here in the venue. There on your big screen you can see Andrew Mullen. Smile on the face as they start to make their way out of the pool. So the official results being displayed there. Paul Rodriguez 250.62. 3 more heats to come.
Yeah, suspected that Sebastian Rodriguez tops the table. The 4 S5 swimmers at the top there. Roy Perkins in second, Andrew Mullen in third. And that time for Andrew Mullen of 254.36 is inside the qualification time for the European Championships for the GB team. So well done, Andrew Mullen, 254.36 inside that qualification standard. We now move on to the next heat, which is Heat 3. All the S14s in this heat, number 3. Armic Parmentier in 0. Scott Quinn in 1. Joseph Schenk in 2. Jack Thomas in 3. Ben Proctor in 4. Mark Avers in 5. Andre Lehman in 6. Wakit Choi in 7. Shinichi Hirota in 8. Man Tong Chan in lane number 9. The big names already in, and Mark Avers ahead of the field at the first turn, 27.65.
As we say, the heat here is the international feel of a quick race coming up, Paul. All S14 swimmers from here on in. These next 3 heats are straight out races. So whilst we're looking for those points to get you into the final, the actual heats will be just a straight out sprint, and at the moment going very well here, Benjamin Proctor, 8th at the Paralympics for the 2:03.30 there. Entry time much quicker than that, 2:01.55. 2 men inside 60 seconds at halfway. Just Proctor and Thomas. How can they maintain Let's take a look as they make their turns. It's still in 4, Proctor. Chasing in behind in 3, Jack Thomas. Avers coming well here in 5. Having a very good swim there in 1 as well is Scott Quinn. Equally so here in 7, Kit Choi, but it looks like it's going to be Proctor to bring us home.
Come on, Ben Proctor, can he achieve that qualification standard of a 2:02.77? I think it's just faded away for Ben Proctor. Wow, 2:04.91 for Ben Proctor. He's one of the guys who has not achieved a qualification standard yet for the European Championship team, and he certainly went out for that one, 2:04.91. He was tying up slightly at the end there, but he managed to hold off Jack Thomas, 2:05.03 for Jack Thomas in second, and they finish ahead of Mark Avers from the Netherlands.
Points total would suggest he may just get another go at that later on in tonight's final session. Just so that you're aware, the final session starts an hour earlier than it has so far over the course of the weekend, so make sure you're on the live stream for 4 o'clock, not 5. You'll have missed an hour's worth of class action if you tune in at 5, so make sure you're ready for 5 to 4 this evening. That's slightly earlier start time to tonight's schedule. No, one of the first of 3 straight S14 races out of the way. We move on to the penultimate heat of the men's 200-metre freestyle heats. This is heat number 4.
Heat 4, Ching Chan in 0, William Jones in 1, Kaman Lee in 2, Thomas Hamer in 3, Wai Lok Tang in 4, Craig Rodgie in 5, Tung Sang Lee in 6, Artem Pavlenko in 7, Adam Melville in 8, and Aaron Moores, who had a good swim last night in the 100 back, he goes in lane 9. Well, again, a couple of the guys who have not made these qualification standards are going for this again today. 2:02.77 is the mark that the likes of Craig Rodgie is looking for. Thomas Hamer, well, he's also trying to achieve that 2:02.77 mark, although as a youngster, just 16 years of age this year, he can achieve the B standard for the GB team, B standard for swimmers who are 18 years and under at the end of this year. So Thomas Hamer, 58.89, good start, followed closely by Rodgie.
Hamer and Rodgie, a bit like the last heat, just 2 people inside 60 seconds, Paul. Hamer and Rodgie on this occasion are those 2. Sun Sang Lee in 3rd with 60.66. And then just behind that, Wai Lok Tang was in 4th position. Here in 3, Hamer looks to have a fractional lead on Craig Rodgie in 5. Yeah, straight race here as they come to the end, and the Burnley Bobcat swimmer, who's been in very good form in 2014, broke a whole host of short course records earlier on in the year. And Hamer stretching towards the end here, 2:03.80 from Thomas Hamer, 875 points. Hamer with another fantastic swim here.
Now Thomas Hamer and Craig Rodgie, they should be back here in the summer at the Commonwealth Games. Thomas Hamer for England, Craig Rodgie for Scotland. Craig Rodgie finishing in 2:04.87. Thomas Hamer's time, though, 2:03.80, and that is inside the B standard for the GB team for the European Championship. So well done, Thomas Hamer. He is inside the B standard for the GB team for Eindhoven this summer. Well done, Thomas. So 4 points totals over the 800 point mark. Remember, 1,000 points equivalent to a world record performance. 8.75 for Thomas Hamer, 8.53 for Craig Rodgie, and 8.21 for Sung Tan Lee. Those swimmers should make it through to one of the finals this evening, but it all depends on the result of this next heat. The 5th and final heat is ready to go. Heat 5. S12 swimmer. Matthew Gibson goes in 0 in this final heat. Takayuki Tsugawa in 1. Ryan Nichols in 2. He was close last night to a qualification standard in the backstroke. Dan Pepper, former world champion, in 3. John Margeir Sverrisson, the Paralympic champion from Iceland, in 4. Satoru Mizaki in 5. Hiroko Kamo in 6. Craig Harris, he had a good swim 2 days ago in the 200 medley. He goes in 7. Connor Morrison goes in 8. And Masami Oda goes in lane number 9. So, out ahead in lane 4, John Margeir Sverrisson, the Paralympic champion, the European record holder. European record set at the World Championships last year, 159.30. Sverrisson leads Mizaki. Can Dan Pepper do something in lane number 3? Struggling to make the qualification standards this week, Dan Pepper. Can he pull something out the bag in the 200 freestyle? Dan Pepper at the moment is in 5th, but he does have a very strong finish, always strong in the closing stages of a 200 freestyle. He's going to have some work to do if he's going to make the final this evening, because John Margeir Sverrisson is looking excellent and he's inside European record pace, the Icelander in lane 4.
3 races in a row, 2 people under 60 seconds. It's how it's happened. Sverrisson will take the touch. And as they start to come back for home. In 5, Miyazaki. Then out there it looks like lane 1. Gower having a very good swim in 3rd as well. But here, just over 10 to go. Here in lane 4, Sverrisson coming home. 201.46, 927 points for John Margeir Sverrisson. 887 for Miyazaki. That's a good swim, Paul. 201.46.
927 points. I think that's the first one we've seen in the 900 point range. Miyazaki could well be the second fastest time we've seen there, 887 points. So those two stretching away at the front of the field. One thing's for sure, when we come to the final this evening, there's going to be absolutely nothing in it there. John Margeir Sverrisson, he did look very good, but can he bring some of the other swimmers behind him through to good times tonight? Thomas Hamer achieving that B standard. Craig Rodgie just outside, and Ben Proctor too just outside. Can these two dip under the European qualifying standard? They'll be pulled along by the Paralympic champion from Iceland in the centre lane tonight. 201.46, and he looked good.
Day 4 of these British Para Swimming International meets, and the Paralympic champion Sverrisson shows us what he's got in his locker. How quick can he go tonight in the final, which I'm sure, with the points total like that, he'll be in lane 4. We'll move on to our next event of the morning. These are the women's 400-metre freestyle races. 7 heats. Heat number 1.
three swimmers in this first heat. Grace Cooper-Holmes goes in lane number 3, the S7 swimmer. Adele Maguire goes in the centre lane, lane 4, the S8 swimmer, and Lauren Sullivan in lane number 5, an S6 swimmer. We had a couple of tweets from Adele Maguire last night. Remember, Alan?
Never win. We're not on Twitter. Oh, yeah, we are. That's a lie. Sorry. Yeah, we did.
Didn't she say she was going to try and improve her best time by about a minute?
Certainly did. And if she does, then we'll stand and applaud. And we'll talk all about it. Hopefully that's exactly what will happen later on. Lisette Toynerson was tweeting in this morning. She's ready for her race. That's a little bit later on in our final races of this morning's session. She'll go in the women's 50 back. She's scheduled in lane 4 of that. Hayley Hago. So, Pinju Yip, Lisette Toynerson, Tracy Goat, Susanna Warren, Danielle Bailey. Hayley Hago, though. Paul's new favourite after delivering that Easter egg this morning. So, only a smiling swimmers walking by our commentary box this morning, wheeling by. They seem all very relaxed as they head down to the starting blocks for their heats of these 400 freestyles. Just the 3 swimmers in heat number 1, Cooper, Holmes, Maguire and Sullivan. Here in 5, it is Sullivan that turns in a 156.74 in 3rd. Cooper Holmes, 148.73 in 2nd. And Adele Maguire, 145.67 goes in 4. You're thinking, Paul. I can see the face, I can hear the brain, you're thinking.
Well, 145 for Adele Maguire. Let's see, that's the first 100. You double that up. Divide by 2. Yeah. 3 minutes 30. Yeah. About 7 minutes. About 7 minutes there. And she's entered on 8 minutes, so she's on that pace. She probably won't be able to maintain that 145 pace for the whole of the race, but we shall see. Adele Maguire looks like she's living up to what she told us last night. It's definitely going to be a big improvement if she can keep this pace going.
She's laid down her own challenge, her own gauntlet. That's what we like to see from the athletes, setting themselves hefty targets to try and achieve. And Adele Maguire telling us yesterday she wants to put a minute off. And 8:01.75 is what we've got written down here. And she starts to head towards a halfway mark here of this 400 freestyle. Don't forget, send us your pictures, your tweets. So Sarah Bowden says she's got to send us a picture. It's a picture, it says, "Go Lavana, whoop whoop, just keep swimming." Good advice. Glynis Wiley said, "Good luck, Matthew Wiley, Joseph Craig, the swimmers in the 400 free today." Chantal Ziedevel says, "Last day of the British Para Swimming International Meet. 400 freestyle, it is. Let's go." Let's go indeed, Chantal Ziedevel. So keep your tweets coming. Good luck, Harriet Dickinson, coming in from Fiona Bowen. And don't forget, send us those selfies. Whether you're inside the venue here at Tollcross or whether you're at home, whether you're a coach watching on, a swimmer waiting to swim, just send us those pictures of you at poolside or at home watching these champs unfold. And at the moment, Adele Maguire, 3:39.38, still on course for the challenge she set herself.
Probably certainly going to be faster than that 8:01 entry time. Going to be an improvement there, probably something around about 2 minutes there for each 100. So that's going to give her somewhere in the region of something like 7 minutes 30 compared to her entry time of 8:01. So excellent to see some of these young swimmers here in the early heats proving their times. Got the year of birth, which are quite scary to Alan and I. Year of birth for Grace Cooper-Holmes, born in the year 2000. Adele Maguire, born in 2001. Lauren Sullivan born in 1997. So Del Maguire, she'll be 13 this year, maybe just 12 years of age at the moment. Del Maguire coming in now. Let's have a look at the split there. 5:33. So yeah, she's pretty consistent there. And she is going to be on track for something around about the 7:30 mark. Big improvement on the entry time.
My waistline takes a hammering when I'm away at events, and it's not going to get any better. Damien and Guy says, I feel guilty that Alan March hasn't had a chocolate egg yet. Would you like one? I can bring one ASAP. To be honest, I'll answer this from my wife's perspective. No. Shirt's busting as it is, so I'll just help Paul with his. Thank you very much for the offer, though, Damien. Very kind. But no, better not. You take a look at the tweet I sent to Coach Glenn, the legend, earlier. You'll see the breakfast I had. Couldn't possibly get an egg in as well. So, here we go at the final turn for Del Maguire. 6:29, 6-0. Give her some encouragement. She wants to better that 8:01.75. She's heading back down, Paul, to try and achieve that. That's what she said she was going to do. And she's certainly going to be well inside it.
It looks pretty strong as well. Real strong kick at the end there. Del Maguire, an S8 swimmer. Not sure exactly of her exact disability. It looks like she is arm amputee there, just with the use of that right arm. A real strong leg kick there as she comes into the last 10 metres. The clock just ticking over at 7 minutes, 10, 11, 12. It's going to be a massive improvement for Del Maguire. Let's hear it for the young lady from Warrington. Del Maguire finishes now. Excellent swim there, 7:22.32.
Great to see loads of people clapping Adele as she came in there. Even some of the swimmers on the blocks getting ready for their 400 free. They were putting their hands together for Adele. Well done. She seems fairly happy, and she'll wait now for the other two swimmers to come home here. So we've got Cooper Holmes in lane number 3, the S7 swimmer, 8:28.11 as an entry time. So again, we're hoping to see better times than these entries as they come towards the finish. Just over 5 to go here, Paul.
Yeah, Grace Cooper Holmes there coming into the last couple of metres. And it's going to be 8:07 for Grace Cooper Holmes. Another big improvement there. 20 seconds for Grace Cooper Holmes. And that is great to see these young swimmers doing that. And here is Lauren Sullivan coming in, the S6 swimmer. 8:21 for Lauren Sullivan. It's just outside her entry time. And it's very close on points, actually. You see the points confirmed on the scoreboard here in the venue. Del Maguire, she was looking good at the end there, wasn't she? Wow, you can see on the video board. Excellent stroke there. Just adjusting her stroke as she comes into the finish to try and finish on her good arm. Del Maguire finishing 7:22. She said she was going to do a big improvement time, and she has achieved that. What's that? Almost 40-second improvement for Del Maguire. And she will end with 260 points. Lauren Sullivan just 2 points behind, 258, and Grace Cooper Holmes 230. And move on to the next heat, which is heat number 2.
Can't believe it, Paul. We're into heat 2 here. I've just looked across and somebody's using Twitter on a laptop. Thought we'd gone back a few years. Twitter on a laptop? What's wrong with you? Get your phone out. Down they go towards the video board end here of Tollcross. Megan Atkinson, Holly Pinder, Eleanor Robinson, Sophie Taylor, Grace Harvey, Rebecca Franks, Julia Castello-Fare, Jeannie Darrick, Sally Phillips and Laura Pilkington. Special mention to Gemma Fields. She was complaining earlier that she didn't get a mention. Now she has. There it is. Paul.
Yeah, I can just about make Gemma out there with these dark shirts against the dark background. They're all blending in, these British swimming staff, aren't they?
That's why Chris wears a white one to stand out. What are they munching on?
Probably your Easter egg from Damien.
That'll be the Easter egg I didn't want, yeah. It's fine. So these two here in 4 and 5, pretty much level as we come up to the first 100 metres. And in 4, it will be Harvey, 1:25.52. Yes, 7 swimmer just leading away from Rebecca Franks. Paul's got his mathematical brain working on the times now. So you weren't far off in that first race when we tried to judge how well Maguire would go. What's your betting here then this time for Grace Harvey and Rebecca Franks?
Well, let's see. 125 for that one. Well, she can go probably about 130, maybe 4.5 minutes there. Goodness. You put me on the spot now. It's not probably going to be about 6:30. Our entry time of 6:32. Looks like she is probably going to be inside that pace at the minute if she can keep that going. And she is managing to stay ahead of Rebecca Franks. Grace Harvey, the S7 swimmer, is stretching away now from Rebecca Franks, the S9 swimmer. And Rebecca Franks looks like she is arm amputee with that arm disability. Looks like we have Grace Harvey, a bit more of a rangy stroke there. 2 arms coming over quite well there at the front of the stroke. Nothing, no power at all from the legs. So this multi-classification swimmers, you see a number of classifications in together. And there is an explanation of the classification system in your program here at the venue. And also online, you'll be able to see an explanation of the classification system. The S7 class from Grace Harvey, it tends to be either 2 limbs affected, either down one side of the body or the upper limbs or the lower limbs. And certainly Grace Harvey there, you see her turning, not using legs at all in the turn, just using her upper body to perform that kind of flip turn. And she's stretching away from Rebecca Franks, the arm amputee, the S9 swimmer, in lane number 5.
Grace Harvey, the Hoddesdon swimmer, being cheered on by friends and colleagues on the front row here at Tollcross. They were encouraging her as she made that turn. Not far away from them's Ollie Hind, who's putting some pretty good swims this week. He sat right on the front row, facing phone. Good old Ollie, facing phone. And he gets out, swims back to his chair, facing phone again. So nice and relaxed demeanour of Ollie Hind.
Glenn the legend looks relaxed as well, keeping an eye on Ollie Hind, yeah.
Yeah. Very chilled out on the front row here at Tollcross. One of the Loughborough coaches, feet on chairs again. Oh, I had to tell Emma Hollis off for it. Now we know where she gets it from. Yeah. Swimmer here in 4. Harvey starts to really stretch away from the S9 swimmer, Rebecca Franks, the yellow capper Franks in 5. Now being closed upon by lane number 6, should I say. That's Julia Castello-Fare. Yeah, it'll be pretty tight at the turn, in fact, between those two. And it is just Franks by 1/100th of a second. So a better turn, but she's going to have a real battle to hold off the S6 swimmer in terms of time. As for Harvey, she's racing down 4:42.71. She comes down to the 3:50 mark and will turn and start to go for home.
It's going to be pretty good for Grace Harvey. You should be inside that entry time of 6:32, hopefully. Interesting there, we saw at the turn there, Rebecca Franks just 1/100 ahead of Julia Castello-Fare. You See the difference in the two classifications there. Rebecca Franks, the arm amputee, using the good power from her legs to get away from the Spanish swimmer, who again has no power at all in her legs, so she can't get off the turn as quick as Rebecca Franks in lane number 5. But Grace Harvey, heading for home now. Let's see if she can challenge that time of 6:32. Looks like she is going to. Getting side that into the last 15 metres now. Real battle for second there. Rebecca Franks and Julia Castello-Farri fighting it out there. Castello-Farri doing backstroke here. Of course, it is a freestyle event, so can do whatever stroke she wants. The Spanish swimmer, she favours backstroke there. As Grace Harvey, she touches in 6:20.04. Picked up the pace very well there in the closing stages. And it is Julia Castello-Farri getting in ahead of Rebecca Franks, 6:30.37. I think Rebecca Franks probably led that battle with the Spanish swimmer for something like 395 metres and just lost it in the last touch.
Welcome to the world of swimming. All down to those final few metres. But Harvey, 4:87. Castello-Farri, 6:30.37, 547 points there. Coming in here is Sally Phillips, S8 swimmer in lane 8. 7:13.93. And race for home in lane 0, 1 here. Pinder and Atkinson, S6 and S9 respectively. We've still got lane 9, that's Laura Pilkington going as well, and she's not much further behind that battle. So a real tussle here as they come in at the end of heat number 2. It looks like 0 will take the first touch, followed by lane 1, followed by lane 9. Atkinson, Pinder and Pilkington giving us a real sprint finish to clock up their points. Atkinson's time actually got a 333 points, right in the middle of the scoreboard and the official results as well. So Castello-Farri, 547 points in Heat 2. I think we'll see bigger points totals as we go through these next few 3 stars. It'll be hard to push her into a final placing there.
So we're just exiting the water there. Just about ready to move on to the next heat. Julia Castello-Farri, though. Top points earner, 547 ahead of Grace Harvey. 2 good swims there from the 2 swimmers on top of the points totals. We are ready now to move on to the next heat, which is heat number 3.
We've lane 0 here. Ladies had a lot of Twitter attention, people watching back at home. Lavana Hansen goes in lane 0. Denise Grau of Germany goes in 1. Iceland's Stelma Bjornsdottir goes in lane 2. Sanne Hoffman of the Netherlands goes in 3. We've learnt some things this week. Alva Kelly in lane 4, the Irish swimmer. Stedie Veerman of the Netherlands in 5. Lisette Broensma of the Netherlands in 6. Olivia May Cameron of Guildford goes in 7. Jordan Marjorie goes for the Dolphins in 8. And Burnley Bobcats' Katie Rillett Young goes here in 9. Quickest entry time, just outside 6 minutes from Kelly. Lowest entry time, inside 6:25 from Katie Rillett Young. So they'll all finish roughly around about the same time. Paul's doing some sort of wave to the swimmers outside of our window. I'm not sure what that was, but he's certainly getting some laughs and smiles from the swimmers as they head down to await their turn to swim these 400 freestyle heats. I love that the Loughborough coasters have took their feet off the seats, and now the lad in front's got his on. Oh.
You just can't tell some people.
Can't tell some people. Feet on seats. Terrible stuff.
That's how injuries happen.
Yes, it is. You're right. Felt like we've done our bit for public safety there. Leading is Veerman. The S13 swimmer turns in 2:03.37.
Looks pretty good there at the front of this field. Things getting a little bit strung out. You see the entry times should be relatively close there, but Veerman looks like she's certainly got the bit between her teeth here. The S13 swimmer with a visual impairment. Might see some swimmers later on in the S11 class, possibly. They're swimmers with no vision at all. And we see Lisette Brunsma going through in the turn there. We'll see the tapping stick by the Netherlands coach in the traditional Netherlands orange. Of course, that tapping stick tells the swimmer where the turn is and when to turn. Quite fascinating that some of the swimmers like to have the long tapping stick. You see the Scandinavians and the former Soviet countries, they have the big long sticks there, so they tap the swimmers are almost 5 meters out. Other countries, like I think the GB swimmers, when they have the tapping sticks, they tend to favour the short tapping stick. So tap the swimmer and immediately they go into the tumble turn. So kind of different techniques across the world for these ones. Fascinating to see which is favoured by each of the countries.
Experienced views of Paul Noble. How many Paralympics were you present at, Paul?
I swam at 5. I've been to a few after I retired, doing this sort of stuff.
One of the coaches swears that they saw you at the very first. So I think they were just having a bit of a dig.
First Paralympic, 1896.
That's about right for you,
Olympics, yeah.
But thank you very much for your picture, Gillian Hendry. That's a picture with mum and auntie. Alison Hendry tweeting in as well. Pat Tansley says, Amy Maron, good luck in your final swims. Love you loads, Auntie Ginge. So Amy Maron there getting plenty of support, even on Twitter. Maria White says, Harriet in Heat 5 in Lane 9 is requesting to be called Trevor at the call room. So we'll have a look at that. Thank you very much to Maria White. If Harriet in Heat 5 of Lane 9 wants to be called Trevor, we'll look into it, see what the officials say, but probably won't happen.
Harriet Dickinson, probably, is it?
Wants to be called Trevor. Not going to happen, but we'll call her Harriet Dickinson. But thank you very much for your tweet as well. Keep them coming. You know the hashtag by now. BPSIM14. Do keep sending us your pictures as well. We're loving some of them that are coming in. And here in 5, coming in, it's Veerman. And the swimmer from the Netherlands, the S13 swimmer, clocks up 523 points. It's about the average at the moment. The mid to high 5s. Veerman it is who comes home first. Bit of a sprint on here, Paul, in lane 8. And lane 3, it's just taken by Hoffman in front of Jordan Marjorie. But 5.9 for Alva Kelly.
Good. 590 points, the highest points total so far. Alva Kelly 556.61. And that's a good swim from her at entry time of 6 minutes. And 6 minutes was actually the fastest entry time in this heat. So we've seen Sana Hoffman, 5.53. Alva Kelly, 5.56. Jordan Marjorie, 5.54. Katie Rillett-Young, 5.44. So a number of the swimmers there inside the 6-minute mark, including Stera Veerman from the Netherlands, 5.33.
Katie Rillett-Young just coming in there eventually in 6.33.54. Last to finish in line, but fourth in the points totals, 533. But yep, Velma Bjornsdottir, 6.15.56, taking it. So all of a sudden there's a bit of a jump in the points. 6.14 from 5.90. Kelly and Graal, the S7 swimmers, 5.90, 5.41 respectively. So these points are starting to move on. We've reached the 600 points. What will we get here when we move on to heat number 4?
Heat number 4 sees Zara Maluli in 0, Errol Halevi in 1, Maria Delgado Nadal in lane 2, Fionn Butler in 3, Megan Richter in 4, Mai Ichinos in 5, Inga Belfort in 6, Coral Farrell in 7, Hope Gordon in 8, and Emily Telle in lane number 9.
Can we remind all spectators that flash photography is not permitted at the start of races? Please do not use flash photography at the start of races. This does distract the athletes. Thank you. On most days, Susie Rogers tells us her mum loves the commentary. I just asked her where she is. She said, I don't know. Not even bothered coming. Oh, gutted. If you're here, Mrs. Rogers, morning.
She hasn't tweeted you, has she?
No, not at all.
No.
There you go, Chantal Boonaker. It's a Dutch record, apparently, in that last race. So, well done to Stera Veerman, S13 swimmer, setting a new Dutch record in that S13 category. So well done. And thank you once again to Chantal over these last 4 days. Has kept us up to date with all the Dutch records. And there's plenty of Dutch swimmers here, so big opportunities to break records. Of course, Summer Ashley Mortimer breaking that European record, being the first time she represented the Netherlands after her switch from Canada. The world record holder then setting a European record here for the Orange Army that are the Netherlands, and going well here in 3, Fionn Butler, My Itchy Nose.
It's Delgado actually in lane number 2, I think. Maria Delgado, the S12 swimmer, who's leading them, 240.03. Ichinos in 2nd, Coral Farrell in 3rd. Maria Delgado Nadal, though, going really well.
It is, you're right. I thought it was lane 3. It is lane 2. Nadal, the S12 swimmer, away from Ichinos, and 3rd is Farrell.
See if Delgado Nadal can maintain this. Come through strongly. Megan Richter now pulling back on Mai Ichinos.
Yeah, Richter turned there in, was down as 4th position, but she's certainly closed on the Japanese swimmer. So the swimmer from West Midlands will come in 3rd at this next turn, but going very well here in 7. Coral Farrell, the S10 swimmer, one of the youngest here, born in 01. Coral Farrell in 2nd as we head down into the final 100. There's no catching Maria Delgado Nadal. Having a very good heat here, number 4.
Zara Maluli also going well in lane 0. She's even younger than Coral Farrell, born in 2002. The Woking swimmer. She's had a couple of good swims at these championships, continuing to do that. Her entry time of 5:49, certainly going to be inside that one. But Maria Delgado Nadal, she is on her way home now for the final 50. And her entry time, 5:42. That is going to be smashed, I think, by the Spanish swimmer. The S12 swimmer. Swimmer with partial vision. She's going to come away from fast finishing Megan Richter, actually. It's going to be a battle for the 2 youngsters, Zara Maluli and Coral Farrell. Look like they're going to fight it out for 3rd, maybe even challenge Megan Richter. But Maria Delgado Nadal, she's going to come home now, and she touches 5:24. Great swim there. 18-second improvement on her entry time. Megan Richter does hold on for 2nd ahead of Maluli, who gets in ahead of Coral Farrell. Battle of the youngsters there. Almost separated by the whole width of the pool.
Telly there coming in lane 9, getting a 556 points. That puts her 2nd highest so far. And then just as I say that, Irel Khalevi comes in with a 6:19. So there you go. Commentators curse and all that. Khalevi 6:19, but it is Delgado Nadal, the 16-year-old, setting a 622 and a 5:24.99 here in heat 4 of the women's 400-metre freestyle races. 2 plus 600 scores here in heat 4. We have 7 heats, remember. So 3 more heats to come for the women. Interesting to see how high these points start to go in these final 3 heats. Hopefully you're all enjoying yourself here at Tollcross here in Glasgow this morning. Hopefully everybody's happy. Hopefully you are at home, nice and comfortable wherever you're watching this or right around the world. What you're about to see is heat number 5.
Lisa Temperaba in 0, Chantel Zerevelt in lane 1, Isabel Hernando Santos in 2, Romy Pansters in 3, Lisa Kruger in lane 4. It's the last of the 4 Netherlands swimmer. Courtney Jordan in lane number 5, the world champion in the S7 class, next to Susie Rogers. Susie Rogers, European record holder in the S7 class. She's next to the world record holder, double Paralympic champion Ellie Simmons in lane number 8, Harriet Dickinson in lane number 9.
It's funny, Kate Gray said to us this morning, you left Eleanor Simmons off your sort of plan of what was to come today. Your stock answer, which was a very good answer, was speaks for herself. And she certainly does that on many an occasion. So if you're wondering why Paul wasn't highlighting Eleanor Simmons this morning, it's because she'll highlight herself with all the swims she does, and the multi-champion will the way here though in 4. Lisa Kruger on 13.19.
Another one of these Netherlands swimmer. It's going well. Chantal Bunaker hopefully will be keeping an eye on this. Keep us informed of any Netherlands records that may be set. And Lisa Kruger going very well though. Ellie Simmons did do a very good first 100. It's been on good form. And she will keep an eye on Ellie Simmons' splits. So Susie Rogers going well. She has been very good this week too. Susie Rogers just ahead of Ellie Simmons. They're kind of pacing each other, the two GB swimmers in 7 and 8. Ellie Simmons just hanging on to Susie Rogers there. And Susie Rogers be pleased to know she is ahead of the world champion, Courtney Jordan. So that'll be a good scalp for Susie Rogers to be ahead of Courtney Jordan again at these championships. But it is the Netherlands swimmer, Lisa Kruger, who's going to lead them into the halfway stage. Chantal Ziedeveld going well in lane number 1. And also Hernanda Santos just ahead of Ziedeveld in lane number 2 there. So it's Kruger, Hernando Santos and Ziedeveld. That's the top 3, the 3 S10 swimmers ahead of the rest of the field at the moment.
Had that tweet from Ziedeveld talking about the 400s a little bit earlier on. And Chantal, watching on the live stream, says Heat 5, the 400 is an important one for the Dutchies. Qualifying time, the S8, 5:27.42 for them. So qualifying time for the S10 in that one is 10:45.74. So Chantal, as we will, we'll keep an eye out for those times. So, good to know. Ziedeveld obviously looking for that 4:55.74. Is the S8 time as well. People like Lisa Den Braber and Romy Pansters. So here in 4 though, Lisa Kruger, also of the Netherlands. 1 of 4 we have here. As well, Hernanda Santos sandwiched somewhat in lane 2 are the 4 Dutch swimmers. Head towards the video board end. Time-wise, Kruger does the lead, does have the lead in fact, from Hernanda Santos. 3rd then is Ziedeveld. 4th on this near side is Great Britain's own Ellie Simmons. Talking about all these international stars we've got our own. Susanna Rogers being another one of those as well, and she's alongside Ellie Simmons here, and they're pushing each other on. The Otter and Loughborough swimmers letting each other out, trying to push themselves on, but swimming all alone here in 4. Paul, Lisa Kruger went straight out from the start, got herself in front, and the S10 swimmer will come home here unchallenged again as far as times are concerned. Take a look at the points as she comes with 15 to go.
Yeah, Lisa Kruger, she swam well here. Not sure it's going to be inside that time that Chantal Bunaker was telling us of 4:55. And she is there, 5:10.85. And in second position, looks like Hernando Santos. And she comes in 5:18.18. And she's followed by Chantal Ziedeveld, 5:20.88. And battle between the GB swimmers. Ellie Simmons, that was a good swim, wasn't it? 924 points for Ellie Simmons, 5:27. Oh, a few seconds outside her own world record, but a good swim for Ellie Simmons, and she did get in ahead of her GB teammate Susie Rogers. So Ellie Simmons will have the bragging rights in the GB team, getting ahead Susie Rogers there. But Susie Rogers, she did manage to beat the world champion on this occasion, Courtney Jordan from the USA. The 2 S swimmers just separated by 1 lane there. Susie Rogers in there, about a second ahead of Jordan. Ellie Simmons, though, the top points earner, 924 points. She just continues to deliver.
Well, that's why we love these multi-class races as well. You have to keep your eyes all over the field. Just because you touch first doesn't mean a thing sometimes. And Ellie Simmons proves that. 5:27.64. She comes home in 924 points. Paul Noble's breaking my iPad. We'll move on to heat number 6.
Heat number 6 is on the way. Kaylin Curry in 0, Chloe Buck in 1, Margie Osterhaus in 2, Stephanie Millward in 3, Tully Kearney in 4, Deborah Font in 5, Eleni Papadopoulos in 6, Manon Vermeyen in 7, Nuria Marcus Soto in 8, and Emily Harris in lane number 9. Important one this for Tully Kearney, the world bronze medalist. Can she achieve a European qualification standard for the GB team? Tully Kearney in lane number 4 in the mix at the minute, very close at the front there. Deborah Font leading through that first 50, 32.10 of Alan's. Now I've broken his iPad and disconnected him from Twitter. He's drying his eyes. What do you think about this one, Alan? Sorry about that.
Silence says it all somewhat there, Paul. Here in 5, the pink cap belongs to Deborah Font. The S12 swimmer will make a turn. In 3, Stephanie Millward, GB swimmer, European record holder. Slightly distracted by the giggles of laughter from our Aussie sports presentation manager. You can follow Anna-Lee McDonald if you like. She's all new to it, still uses a laptop on Twitter. Who does that these days? Spotted somebody yawning a moment ago. Pack that in. I'll have less of that. No yawning. Not allowed. British Paris Swimming International Meet heats up again tonight in the final session. And here in Heat 6, a little battles up going on, but leading the way, Deborah Font, the S12 swimmer, in lane 5, 1:44.13, second. One of our S9 swimmers, it's Steph Millward, Marcus Soto, Emily Harris, and Chloe Buck. And Tully Kearney, Lainey Papadopoulos, Manon Vermeeren, Mari Osterhaus, the S10 swimmers go in this one as well.
Well, let's see if Tully Kearney can come back in that qualification standard. She's the one I'm looking at the minute, the one we've got to try to achieve that standard. The B standard for this event for the GB team is 4:48.02, and Tully Kearney is around about on that pace, maybe just off the pace at the minute. She's got to pick this up, the swimmer in lane number 4. In 4th place at the moment, Deborah Font, experienced Spanish international, goes over in 1st position. Stephanie Millward having a good swim there. The European record holder, Stephanie Millward, time 4:40.01 is the European record. And Stephanie Millward, gold medalist last year at the Montreal World Championships. He is going together with Deborah Font. Not much in it between those two. 3:35.26 for Stephanie Millward. Let's have a look at Tully Kearney. 3:41 for Tully Kearney as she goes over there. Oh, she's going to be struggling, I think. to come back in that 4:48 time. Let's hope she can pick up the pace in this last 100.
So it's saying it has not been very well throughout the course of the meet, so hopefully Tully can come up with something here. But great to see Steph Millward at the front here, really pushing Deborah Font, the S9 swimmer Millward. Entry time for this, 4:45.08. And in fact, Paul, she's just taken to the front here. So 4:12.41. Stephanie Millward in lane 3 as she starts to come back towards home. Font in second, 4:13.10. Going very well here in lane 8 as well is Marcus Soto, another of the S9 swimmers, but she's not going to catch Stephanie Millward here. So 5 to go. Millward and Font as they come in.
Millward just gets it, stretches across, looks over, she sees she's just ahead of Deborah Font. 4:49.01. Good swim from Stephanie Millward. That's inside the qualification standard for Stephanie Millward, so she will be pleased with that one. And 4:49.01, that's inside the S9 qualification standard. Tully Kearney is 4:57.06 there. Top points total was Deborah Font. It's a good swim from the Spanish swimmer, 883 points. Tully Kearney, 774, and Maren Vermaren, 763. Just 2 points ahead of Stephanie Millward. First to the wall there, 4:49.01 in that qualification time. So well done to Stephanie Millward. Another qualification time under her belt.
It's Lovejoy's time. It's some 2.5 seconds for his entry time, the 57-year-old from the United States. So, Olympic finalist has notched a better time in his entry in a 1:13.240 from third. Of that, Ndaya coming in 5. Elena Kravtsov goes in lane 0, Colin Young in 1, Alice Tai in 2, Amy Marin goes in 3, Hannah Russell in 4, Bianca Papp in 5, no lane 6 here, Martha Gomez Batelli in 7, no lane 8, and Begona Correro goes in 9. Question here from Mike Berry for you, Paul. It says, can the Professor Paul Noble explain why we've just watched an S9 swimmer in the 400 free edge out 2 S10s but score less points? And you instantly knew the answer to this. Go.
That's right, the Professor, I like that.
I didn't, because I knew you'd like it. But carry on.
Yeah, it's because the points totals are based on the world record times. So simply, the world record for the S9 class is faster than it is for the S10 class for women. The S9 record is held by the great South African Natalie du Toit in a time of 4:23.81. So Natalie was an excellent swimmer, an able-bodied swimmer before she lost her leg, and the standard in the S9 world records is really, really high, set by that great South African. So that record stands at 4:23.81, where the S10 record stands at 4:32. So unfortunately for the S9 swimmers, they've got a harder target to aim to.
I hope, Mike Berry, whether you're watching that at home or here in the venue, I hope that explains to you. It's not always as simple as it seems, but Paul will know the answer. I think that's pretty much where we're going with that. Yeah, it's all done against those world records. And as Paul was saying, Natalie du Toit has some fantastic times, a former able-bodied swimmer, and continued, and she was quite a successful able-bodied swimmer as well, and then all of a sudden continued that into para-swimming as well.
She actually competed as an amputee in the Commonwealth Games final in the 800 freestyle in 2002 And she also qualified for the Olympics as an amputee in the open water swimming in Beijing in 2008. So, real quality swimmer in disability sport and in able-bodied swimming too.
There you go. Hopefully, Mike, that answers your question. So, if you have got questions for Paul, we don't mind answering them. Oh, yeah. Kate Gray says #AskNoble. So if you could stop calling him a professor because he loves it. Away they go here in lanes 3 and 4 as they head down towards the video board end here at Tollcross. Day 4 of these champs, and these are the freestyle heats for the women, the final heat here. So expect something big, but it's all about balancing your reserves as well, because you need some left for tonight. 2 400 swims in a day, not the easiest thing to do. I struggle doing 2 400s in a year. So 2 400s in a day for our athletes. But they'll know, they'll have a strategy and a game plan. Enough to get to the final. Not too much, but you've got nothing left later.
Is that what we're going to do for Challenge Kate Gray at lunchtime? A 400 for Kate Gray. Now that would be difficult to predict.
That'd be nice. A Challenge Kate Gray 400, yeah. Here comes the turn in 3. Marin it is. 3:35.47. One of our current young crop of GB stars, Paul, that you never quite know what you're going to get, because it just gets quicker and quicker with Amy Marin. She's certainly one that's hit the peak now, and we're expected just to keep going and going. So Amy Marin, 3:35.47 at that turn. Hannah Russell, another one of those young stars we've got on the team. He goes away here in 4, in second position in this final 100. Just turning here in 9 is Bigona Jurero, the S13 swimmer, representing Spain. Entry time 5:15.24. Marin at the moment leads the way as they come for home. Going very well now as well in 5 is Bianca Papp, who's moved into second. So the S10 swim, we've got S10, S9, S12. As we just said, the S9 swim here from Amy Marin, harder to get the higher points because of how good the world record is at the moment. Marin putting in everything she's got here. Here in 3 at the touch, 4:49.09. 760 points, but there is Hannah Russell, 4:54.60, 835 points. Bianca Papp, 806 for her S10 swim. Another good 700 score from Alice Ty as well there in lane 2. Been record breaking herself over the course of this weekend. Bavzov finishing there in 5:22.59.
Yeah, another impressive swim there, Amy Marin. She just seems to get better and better. 4:49.09 for Amy Marin. And that is another European qualifying standard achieved by Amy Marin. So well done, Amy Marin. Another great swim for Amy Marin from Romford. Hannah Russell, 4:54 there. And she is the British record holder. She achieved that qualification standard last night in the 100 backstroke. And she is the top points earner in that heat, number 7. With 835 points, Bianca Papp 806, and Amy Marin's swim earning her 760 points. So you would imagine that those points totals would be good enough for them to come back for the finals this evening.
We now move on to our next event of this morning's session. These are the men's 400-metre freestyle heats. 6 heats. This is heat 1.
Heat 1 of this men's 400 metres freestyle. Just 6 heats of this one. Freden Lewan goes in lane number 1. Matthew Harding in 2. Adam Donachie goes in 3. Thomas Urry goes in lane 4. Thomas Urry, a bit of a problem there in lane number 4, but he's back up and running again. He has lost a bit of ground there in the early stages. See if he can come through the field. Daniel Chetwood in 5. Matthew Close in 6. Gareth Pickin in 7. And Julius Jaranding goes in lane number 8. Jaranding going out very well. The 2 Malaysians in the outside lanes lead the field through here. Freden Dewan in lane 1 and Julius Jaranding in lane 8. The 2 Malaysians lead the Scottish swimmer in lane 3, Adam Donachie, young man from Blantyre. Saw Adam this morning, said he was looking forward to this one. A big shout out to his gran, who's been here every day this week watching him. So Adam Donachie's gran, good morning.
Good morning indeed. Every day. We like. Keep on coming. Robert Nesbitt says, Paul Noble, hi from me and Katie. I know so I'm going to mention there. Just thought I'd throw that in. So morning to Paul Noble. We've not had a response from Mike Berry, so hopefully he's happy with the answer you gave him regarding the S9 situation in terms of the world records. And do keep following all of the action on Twitter. You can get the British Swimming Twitter app, get that, follow them. They'll let you know all the happenings here, and make sure on the live stream page you put your votes in for the best GB performer from day 3, and it's getting really tight. James Hollis is 25% of the votes, Steph Slater 26% of the votes, Hannah Russell 21%, so it's pretty tight on there at the moment. So do get your votes in for the best GB performer from day 3 of the BPS IM14 Bipsim, if you want to remember it quite easily. And Chris is still here on the Twitter account, sending all those British swimming tweets, keeping you up to date with all the action. So keep following, and make sure you remember the live stream tonight starts at 5 to 4, not 5 to 5, we're an hour earlier tonight's session. So make sure you are watching at 5 to 4 this evening for the stream.
So Freden Dewan in first position. First of the 2 Malaysians, they are still leading the way. Julius Jaranding.
2 outside flyers, as they call them.
The bookends.
Yeah. Lots of expressions for it, but we'll just call it lane 1 and 8, shall we? And it is, yeah, that'll do. It's nice. Lane 1 is Freden Dewan, 3:12.98 at the last touch, and as he turns into his final 100, 3:52.41. As Paul said, no entry times for either of the Malaysian swimmers, so it's.
I'm just looking at my papers, Alan, and they are both the Asian record holders, these two, in that race, so we'll watch out for these Asian records, shall we?
You and your Asian records, you're all over it. Got Chantel on Twitter giving us the Dutch records. Paul Noble's here with his Asian records, so well done. We'll keep you up to date with whatever we can. And the van does turn, so Paul scurries for that bit of paper with those Asian records on as the Malaysian Freden Dewan comes in. S10 and S13. Swimmer on the other side is Julius Jaranding. They'll start to come for home here. In 6, making a turn, is Matthew Klaus. He turns now. Time 4:55.70. Matthew heads for the final 100 in 2. Harding turning in 5:06. Here comes Dewan. It's 5:06.27. Paul, are we subject to ratification?
No, unfortunately not. Freden Dewan. We built him up there for the Asian record, but the Asian record holder not quite on that type of form today. The man who has been Commonwealth Games swimmer for the Malaysian team and the Asian record holder. Let's have a look at Julius Jaranding. Asian record stands at 5:33.32.
Going to be tight. Going to be tight. Here's the touch. 5:34.59. Oh, you've got us close there, Paul, but we still await a subject to ratification from the great Paul Noble this morning. So, the wait. Oh, we had one earlier. Bethany Firth.
We did. That very first race of this morning, very first event. Bethany Firth, fantastic swim. Here's Adam Donachie. You can hear his gran in the crowd.
Not through these glass windows, we can't. Not in our commentary box, but we know she's here. Here's the touch in 3. Donachie, 379 points with a picture here from Jodie Bennett. Says, good luck, Daniel. Must be Jodie and her sister in that picture. Daniel Bennett goes in 5 of the next race. So get yourself on the timeline, hashtag BPSIM14. Swimmers coming in sporadically here, right across the pool. And this heat number 1, different times being set all over. 349 points-wise from Jaranding, beaten by Devan on the other side, 507. A 371 for Harding as he comes in. Chetwood, 222 in 5. Yeah. Coming home here in 7. Gareth Pickett, yes, 7 swimmer. Entry time 7:28.33. The Gloucester swimmer. Here comes Picken, then final 15.
Yep, Gareth Picken will be the final swimmer to finish. We did have Thomas Urry there in the centre lanes, but he's not going to finish the distance. We saw him get out a bit earlier in this race. He's okay. He's not going to finish the distance, so Gareth Picken is the final man to finish, 7:28.67. The 2 Malaysians doing well there. Julius Jaranding, very close to the Asian record that he holds himself. And a good swim from the local man, Adam Donachie, double leg amputee from Blantyre. 6:07.52. It's a big improvement for Adam. Ahead of the rest there, division 8 swimmer, very impressive, 24.40, 800 points. Of course, the reason he's in this first league is because he hasn't got entry time, so he's in with what we would traditionally have said was the slowest swimmer with the slowest time.
But it's not always time.
Swimmers exit the water. Results are confirmed, and we can go on to Heat 2.
So, head away here in heat number 2. Craig Smith, Matthew Rishworth, Matthew Phillips, Tim Van Duren, Tom Piggott, Daniel Bennett, aforementioned earlier, his ladies in the crowd supporting him, Patrick Flanagan, Damien and Guy. I'm glad he's not bought me an Easter egg, as he said earlier. He's busy swimming. Andreas Onya and Adam Scott.
Good start here. Look at this in lane number 3, Tim Van Duren again. Dutch swimmer's really doing well here. Look at this lead for the young Dutch swimmer. Tim Van Duren, 1:13.25. He is followed by Craig Smith in lane 0. Craig Smith, know Craig very well. He's a local swimmer to me. So hopefully he'll do well. 117.04. I know he likes the 400. He had a bit of a mishap in the first 400 he did at one of the championships, but he's back on form now. He's been on good form the last couple of weeks. So I'll be rooting for Craig there in lane 0. 117.84. Let's see if he can keep that going. He's not going to catch Tim Van Duren though. S9 swimmer from the Netherlands has got a big lead as they go through 150.
Can't pick a swimmer and say you'll be rooting for them, surely.
Yeah, well, they always accuse me of working for the Scottish Tourist Board when I go to the British events, but, you know, I don't think that's right. Do you think, Alan? We're impartial here, of course.
Patriotic, whichever way you say it. 15 to go here before the turn. And in lane number 3, Tim Van Duren, and somebody will be supporting the Dutch team, no doubt. It'll be Chantal on the Twitter feed. Fingers will be waiting to tell us whether this is a QT time or not. So Van Duren heads away. Closest is Craig Smith. S8 swimmer, 240.91. Placed in second. Tom Piggott turned then in third in lane 4, 248.09. 249.61 for Patrick Flanagan in fourth position. We have encouragement from the Dutch coaches on the front row here at Tollcross as Van Duren heads down for another turn. Again, we're seeing the S9 swimmer doing it all on his own, Paul. Happy to be out at the front. And again, it can happen in multi-class events. You can find that your times are massively quicker to those around you, so you end up swimming unpushed. Then it's your job to push yourself along.
It's sometimes better to have someone alongside you just to push yourself along in that, especially in the longer distances. But, you know, the advantage is you've got clear water there. No splash from anything else. So, Tim Van Duren using that free water around him to great effect there. 354.33 at that turn on Tim Van Duren. Looks like he's going to be well inside that entry time of 550.80. And Craig Smith also is going well. 406.46 for Craig Smith, who's in third position. Looks like Tom Piggott at the moment. 415.88. So the top two, Tim Van Duren and Craig Smith, both of them been swimming very well at these championships. So big improvements. So we'll see if they can continue that. See what time they are going to improve their entry times by. Certainly both going to be inside those entry times of 550 and 6:14.
Very creative from Jodie Bennett. Says, Dan, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. So Jodie Bennett coming up with her own chance. Chantal Bunaker says the QT for Van Duren is nigh on impossible for the breaststroke specialist. But his PB is 550.80. Thank you, Chantal. It says that will easily go, I think. So here comes Van Duren, and she's absolutely spot on the money here. 550.80 is a personal best for Van Duren. That's, well, quite frankly, gone. 514.01. It's a new PB for the Dutchman. So a very good swim here on day 4, and he's racked himself up 504 points as well. And he'll get to lean on the ropes for a couple of minutes. Oh, we wait for these swimmers to come in. In 0, Craig Smith, 531.36 for him. You happy with that, Paul?
It's not bad at all, 531. Let's have a look how much improvement that is for Craig Smith. That's about 43 seconds on his entry time. That can't be bad. He'd be pleased with that one. Only Tim Van Duren, with that improvement of 36 seconds, is ahead of Craig Smith. But look at the points totals. Damien, 9G, well, he's 504 points with that time of 550.80. And he's level on points with Tim Van Duren, the S9 swimmer. But it was Craig Smith at the top there as the scoreboard just goes slightly awry here in the venue. I think Craig Smith was definitely the top points earner there in that heat number 2. Good swim though, Van Duren. Chantel, as you said, was spot on there, 5:50. But 4:34, that's a tough time to qualify for an S9 in a 400 freestyle.
Very young is Tim. I'm sure we'll start to see more of him on the international circuit in the next few years. So that's heat number 2 all over. It's time to move on to heat number 3.
Heat 3 sees Joshua Monaghan-Coombs in 0, Oliver Carter in 1, Julian Extrabin in 2, Benjamin Fulston in 3, Wai Sung To in 4, Cameron Cox in 5, Oliver Fellows in 6, Hannes Schurman in 7, Malte Braunschweig in 8, and Kyosuke Oyama in lane number 9.
Chantal just pointing out on the Twitter feed that if Tim qualifies for the youth final tonight, Tim Van Duren from that last race will have qualified for every youth final he's entered whilst he's been here. So that's a pretty productive trip in terms of progression as a swimmer.
Indeed, these youth finals are throwing up some impressive performances as well. It's not very easy to qualify for them. And we saw Amy Maran, she's picked up medals in just about every one of the youth finals this weekend.
She took a bronze in the open final, then gold in the youth in the same event, didn't she? So, yeah, some very impressive young swimmers here at the international meet. And we're on the last day, Paul. So we'll make the most of all the action to come. And, more athletes make their way past our commentary box window on their way down to the starting line, getting themselves ready for their 400 freestyle race. And in this one, Joshua Monaghan-Coombs was being very well supported on our Twitter feed earlier by plenty of guys out there. With Gillian Hendry, they were waiting for Josh Monaghan-Coombs to swim in the 400 free, so they were practicing their selfies earlier. Perhaps send us one when Josh comes into touch. Try and send us a selfie then. So, keep them coming to us in the venue and at home, remember, as well. And going well here in lane number 2, Julian Extrabin. Yeah, S10 swimmer. Just in front of Benjamin Fulston. Extrabin leading the way, 2:25.30.
Yeah, these two pacing each other there, the two S10 swimmers. They are leading the field, about half a second between them at that turn. Julian Extrabin from the German team, very strong German team here. And some of the GB swimmers will be making their way to Berlin later this week for the German Open. German swimmers always, well, they have done certainly in recent years, they've supported the British Championships or the British Open Championships as they are this year. The British team have always sent someone to the Berlin Open. Berlin Open, a very similar competition to what we have here in Glasgow. There's a few open competitions now for para swimmers across Europe and across the world. So opportunities certainly opening up for the para swimmers. Didn't have many open competitions when I was swimming, Alan. Not too many. Sheffield was about as far as we got, other than the major championships.
here in 3. Folston just goes past Exleben. Yeah. From Germany, just unable to hold off the Nova Centurion as he just about edging him out here as they come down. I mean, interesting finish to this one, Paul. These two S2N swimmers have pushed each other on, and with 50 to go, just looks like Folston at the turn. It is by a fraction. 4:24.42 for Folston. Exleben 4:25.23. Third position is Cameron Cox, another one of the 5 S10 swimmers we've got in the pool here. And Cox will have work to do, but it's going to be Folston who starts to pull away from Julian Exleben here with just over 15 metres to go, Paul.
Yeah, Julian Exleben just tying up slightly there, and Folston looking the stronger, looking really strong as he gets in to the last 15 metres. Real surge of power there, and bringing him away from Julian Exleben. Benjamin Folston takes it 5:02.01. Exleben in second, 5:05.03. And Cameron Cox, he finished well, 5:08.22. And Oliver Carter is home to the S10 swimmers, finishing at the front of the field there. Joshua Monaghan Coombs in lane 0, still on his way down there. But it was the top 4 swimmers: Oliver Carter, Julian Exleben, Benjamin Folston and Cameron Cox. Looking at the points totals so far, the swimmer in lane number 7, Hannah Schurman. The German swimmer Hannah Schurman is 612 points. He's an S7 swimmer. Finished in a time of 5:28.81. Joshua Monaghan Coombs is in now, 5:49.47. And a battle now between Wai Songto and Malte Braunschweig. Very close at the finish there between these two final swimmers. The touch does go to Braunschweig, and Wai Songto 6:03.66, the final swimmer to finish. So, Hannah Schurman, the top points earner in that heat, 612 points. Oliver Fellows, we saw him yesterday, swimming in the youth final. 551 points for Oliver Fellows, and Benjamin Folston with that swift finish. He's the 3rd top points earners on 529 points. Swimmers exit the water for heat 3. Swimmers are about to enter the water for heat 4. We move on to that heat now. Heat number 4. Heat number 4 sees Niels Bender in 0, Michael Jones in 1, Jackson Simmons in 2, Callum Pearson in 3, Ivan Salguero Atiza in 4, Daniel Simon in 5, Jonathan McGrath in 6, Taron Drake in 7, Lewis White in 8, and Jamie Warrener in 9. Spoke earlier, Alan, about the visually impaired swimmers and the way that they are communicated, how the turns and finishes go. We've got Taron Drake there in lane number 7. This will be a good example here. He's an S11 swimmer with no vision at all. They've got a massive tapping stick, haven't they? The USA team. There you go. Boom, right on the back there. Taron Drake goes over. 112.19 for the USA swimmer. Daniel Seaman is in first, 104.42.
So here in 5, Salmon going to turn. You see the coach of Theron Drake waiting to assist at the turn. There you go. Again, as Paul was demonstrating the different techniques and the different lengths of the turning sticks. So Theron Drake, is that because some athletes are more comfortable further away knowing that the turn's coming and some are more comfortable closer?
It's the way you train, I think, what you're used to. Said the GB swimmers, they as soon as you tap them on the head or on the shoulder and just flip over, do the turn. They have tried to do that, to help one of the visually impaired swimmers do that, and it's quite a difficult skill to do, especially in backstroke. You've got to try and tap the swimmer in the head with the arms flying over on the backstroke. It's quite difficult to do. Freestyle's not too bad because your swimmers lead by the head. They tap on the head and they flip over on that tumble turn. But that can cost you, actually, if you're a quality swimmer, quality visually impaired swimmer. If you don't get the turns right, then it's going to cost you a lot of distance. There you go, Theron Drake going over there. A couple of strokes. Go over, you get taps on the head or the shoulder. A couple of strokes and he goes over for his turn. That's pretty swift, actually. Maybe that's a challenge for you, Alan. Get the blacked out goggles on. Kate Gray will stand at the end with a tapping stick. See how you get on. He's speechless.
I fancy that. So we'll work on that here in 5. It is the German Daniel Simon entry time 4:55.00. They come under the watchful eye of Susan Coe. Through they come. Final 5. There's the touch in 5. Simon 4:37.97 gives him 693 points here in heat number 4. Coming in lane 4 is going to be Salguero Orteza being pushed by Callum Pearson all the way. Those two, and it's Pearson who gets the bigger points total, but a 602 from Lewis White. Seen some very good swims from him throughout this meet. 706 coming in from Jonathan McGrath. 778 for Michael Jones, the S7 swimmer, 5:03.44. And Jones has stated a case for getting through to a final there. 778 points here in heat number 4. Well done to all of those swimmers. The official scores just being calculated.
Before the results are confirmed, they will check the goggles of Theron Drake. He's getting out of the water there, Theron Drake. These S11 swimmers have to wear blacked out goggles, so the referees will check to see if those goggles are blacked out before the result is confirmed. So, confirmed there on the scoreboard. I think those blacked out goggles are okay. Good swim at the front of the field there by Daniel Seaman. He was a German medalist at the major championships before. The open water swim, I remember, at the World Championships. Michael Jones is the top points earner there. 778 points ahead of Jonathan McGrath and Daniel Simon in third, 693.
So we're joined here in the commentary box. Kate Gray, she comes and sits at the end of our desk as we're commentating away, Paul. We're going to put a bit of pressure on you here, Kate. We're going to ask you some questions that are going to put you on the spot. What's been your favourite swim so far? I know we've got tonight's final session to go, and I'm going to waffle for a couple more seconds to give you a chance to think about it. Oh no, she's already got it, she says. What's your favourite swim so far?
It's got to be Stephanie Slater last night. Seeing her sort of crawl out of the pool and then the realisation that she's just done a world record, I think it's the feeling that everybody trains for, just hoping one day they can think, right, I'm the fastest in the world. And that is exactly what she's feeling. I've just seen her this morning. She's back in for another training session. You know, no rest for these athletes. They don't get time to celebrate. She's back training. And coaches seem like they think there's a lot more to come. So can't wait to continue to see her racing over the next few years into Rio.
Of course, she's obviously feeling the benefits of the National Performance Centre as well. She's one of the GB stars that trains there. So, as you say, more to come. A bit like today, here in the venue. More to come because we've got our next heat. This is heat number 5.
Heat number 5, Fraser Kane in lane number 0. Jonathan Booth in lane 2. Kahura Harazawa, he's had a good week. He goes in lane 3. Jose Maria Alcaraz in 4. Oliver Hind, the world champion in the S8 class. He goes in lane number 5. Klaus Steinhauer in 6. Jonathan Fox, he had a good day yesterday. Just 5/100ths of a second outside his backstroke record. He goes in 7, Bastien Fontaine in 8, and Craig McNeil in lane 9.
So we do ask for your selfies, pictures of yourself in the crowd or at home, and this one comes in from Gemma Field. It's the Media Tribune selfie. What I'm very disappointed at, well, 2 things. Chris Cottrell, give us a smile, mate. You can't be in the back of that with a grimace like that. And then Gemsy Field, been here for 4 days and can't remember the hashtag. BPS IM14. That's missing from your tweet, Gemma. Scandalous. Media Tribune selfies. Make sure you keep sending your selfies in, but make sure you keep the hashtag. Otherwise, we don't necessarily see them. BPS IM14. Throughout the course of this week, we've had some cracking pictures, and Chris scowling in that one of my highlights so far. So, well done to them. You can follow all the action here if you're not available tonight, either via the live stream or through the British Swimming Twitter page. But if you are on the live stream, make sure you do place your vote for the best GB performer of day 3. And it's pretty tight, you know. Steph Slater, John Fox, Susie Rogers, James Hollis, Hannah Russell. They're your choices for the swims of yesterday. And at the moment, Steph Slater just edging out James Hollis in that voting system. So make sure you get your vote in as well as your tweets. And keep cheering, keep watching, keep supporting all of these fabulous swimmers. And we've seen some good swims this morning, Paul, and again, going to make for some very good international quality finals tonight. But here in 5, Oliver Hind, 2:11.49.
You know what, that is a very good split for the first 200. 2:11.49 for Oliver Hind. He and his brother Sam Hind, they were on the podium at the Paralympic Games in 2012, on the podium, gold and silver last year at the World Championships in 2013. Sam Hind, of course, recently retired. We saw a selfie of him.
He sent us the one and only retired selfie earlier on throughout the week. So that was a new one, a retired selfie from Sam Hind. That was good.
You know what? Sam Hind is still the world record holder in this class. It's One thing that Oliver Hind has not been able to eclipse his brother in. His brother still the fastest swimmer of all time in the S8 class. 4:26.08 Sam Hind's world record. Let's have a look at Ollie's split here. 3:21.62. Well, I think Sam, watching at home, I think your record's going to be safe at least for a few hours. Oliver Hind should make it to the final with this time. And unless he can come back really fast, the world record will be safe. Ollie Hind heads Jose Maria Alcaraz, the Spanish swimmer, better known as a sprinter. 50 and 100 freestyle specialist, going over the longer distance today. And he is now pushing Oliver Hind. Kahuru Harazawa having a good swim too in lane number 3. It's those three ahead of the field. We'll keep an eye on Jonathan Fox. The S7 former world record holder may well have the highest points total, although it'll be tough to beat Oliver Hind. Keep an eye on Fox in lane 7, but Hind and Alcaraz coming home now in 4 and 5, with Harazawa pushing the big two in the centre lane.
It's a good finish here from Alcaraz in 4. In 5 is Ollie Hind in the green cap, but also a very strong finish, as you said, from Harazawa here in 3. It is going to be the first at the touch for Alcaraz at 796 points. Harazawa comes in second, 736, but points-wise, Ollie Hind, 949 points for Oliver Hind. That's a fantastic swim for him. He gets a round of applause from Coach Glenn and a few more people around the pool here in venue at Tollcross. Put their hands together for Ollie Hind. That's a very impressive morning swim, 4:30.81. And as you said, maybe Brother Sam might have a few more hours. What's Ollie got left in him tonight? We'll find out a little bit later on, because we'll certainly see Ollie again with a points total of 949. And, well, Jonathan Fox, 898, comes in second points-wise in this one as well. So, some good GB swims happening right around the pool. Fox, the S7 category, 898 for him in a 4:49.28. So we've got one more heat of these men's 400 metres. Can anybody topple 949? We'll find out. This is heat number 6.
Heat number 6. We do have Ryan West in lane 0. Miguel Sanchez Mateo in lane number 2. Matthew Wiley in 3. Rob Wellborn in 4. James Clegg in 5. Joseph Craig in lane 6. Jose Cantero Elvira in 7. Israel Oliver in 8. And Torben Schmidtke in lane number 9. That was a good swim in the previous heat there from Ollie Hind. That was a European qualification time for Ollie Hind, so he can add that to the time he did earlier in the week in the 200 metres individual medley. So well done, Ollie Hind. Another qualification time for the European Championships to be held in Eindhoven in August. Good start though at the front there. Rob Wellborn, British and European record holder in the S10 class. Rob Wellborn, multi-Paralympic Games medalist, was part of that very successful 4x100 freestyle relay team who won the Paralympic title in 2004 and 2008. He's been a medalist at the last 3 Paralympic Paralympic Games in the 400 freestyle. So this is very much his number 1 event, and he's gone out 1:34.82. The time that is going to be sought by Rob Wellborn is 4:17.96. See how he gets on. James Clegg, he's going to have to go close to that time too to make the qualification standard. The bronze medalist at the World Championships last year, James Clegg. and he's going to have to go 4:17.32, so slightly faster than Rob Wellborn. Matthew Wiley going very well there. Matthew Wiley has been really good the last few weeks. British record in the 100 freestyle, the S9 swimmer. And his target is going to be 4:21.18. That's Matthew Wiley's target. And because he's 18 this year, he can also look for the B standard, and that's 4:23.76. So that's Matthew Wiley with the red cap there. But Rob Wellborn is the man who is leading them all at 250 metres. Wellborn in first, Wiley still going well, Clegg in third, Joseph Craig going in lane number 4. Joseph Craig, well, world record holder in the S7 class, now swimming as an S8, so Joseph Craig, very tough target for the man in lane number 6.
Leading Wellborn then, second Wiley, third James Clegg, fourth Joseph Craig. Oh, it's national competition, yes. Being led away here in times by Team GB, yes. 1 Wellborn, 2 Wiley, 3 Clegg, 4 Craig. Then we have Miguel Santos Meteo and Torben Schmidtke in 6. Israel Oliver, 7. 0 Elvira in 8th with Ryan West. Just making the turn in 0, who's actually just gone past Elvira. So at the turn, at the score, the video board ends, as I say, here in 4. Rob Wellborn, Paul looks a man determined. 3:46, 3:4, sprinting for home.
Not sure if he's going to do this. It's going to be tight for Rob Wellborn. 4:17.96 is the target for Rob Wellborn. Is he going to do it? Well, 4:10, the clock just ticking over here. He might manage it. It's going to be tight. I think he might just miss it, Rob Wellborn. 4:18.62. Oh, he will be disappointed with that one, Rob Wellborn. Hoping to achieve that qualification standard, get that out of the way before the final this evening, but he is going to have to come back and try to shave off about a second there to try and dip under that qualification standard. 4:18.62 for Rob Wellborn. And he's followed home by Matthew Wiley, James Clegg and Joseph Craig. Good time from Joseph Craig there.
4:38.47 from Joseph Craig. Gives him 872 points. That should secure him another swim. 6.79 for Israel Oliver. Torben Schmidtke 760. Just pushes Wiley down by a place in terms of points.
I can tell you there, we saw Rob Wellborn just missing that target, 4:18.62, just a second outside. But Joseph Craig, well, he is swimming now as an S8 at these championships, but I can tell him, good news is, Joseph Craig, you're inside the B standard for the S8 class. So well done, Joseph Craig. Great swim there from the young man, Joseph Craig, Paralympic champion. And he is pleased. Some good news at last this week for Joseph Craig. Excellent stuff.
Big thumbs up from Joseph Craig as he climbs out of the pool. And we'll turn our attention after those 400 freestyle heats for the men and the women to the splash and dash version. This time it's in the backstroke for the women. 50 metres, heat 1 of 1 is coming up. So there are away, and one of Paul's favourite swimmers this weekend will be Kaylee Haggos gave Paula an Easter egg. Look at that, he's got it in his hand. He's not sharing a single bit, he says, of his Easter egg given to him by Kaylee Hago, Sterling Swim. Singapore's Pinju Yip goes alongside her. Lisette Toynerson, very famous Dutch swimmer. Teresa Go from Singapore in 5. Suzanne Warren, Colchester in 6. And then 7, Danielle Bailey. You've seen Danielle swim a few times this weekend here. But here in 4, it's going to be a swimmer from the Netherlands, Lisette Toynerson. And they'll come to the touch in a time of 54.93. 688. Good swim from Pinju Yip here, 858. So good points total from Pinju Yip, who is the world record holder. 56.62. That category, the S3 category.
Yeah, the 2 world record holders going side by side there. Pinju Yip and Lisette Toynerson. And on this occasion, it's a Singapore swimmer, 858 points. She is closest to the world record held by her since 2009, 56.62. Pinju Yip. Lisette Toynerson's record, 48.49.
Just before we move on to our final heat of the morning, ladies and gentlemen, can we have a round of applause for all of our officials and volunteers here at Tollcross for their efforts throughout the course of these championships. So a round of applause for all of the volunteers and, of course, the venue staff as well, all those guys in the orange and green T-shirts. They've been here for 3 long weeks with 3 fantastic championships taking place. They've been wonderful people. Thank you very much to all the venue staff as well. We'll move on to our final heat swim of this British Para-Swimming International meet. This is the men's 50 metres backstroke, heat 1 of 1.
The one and only heat for 50 backstroke for men. Anderson Jamba in 0, Quinton Harris in 1, Miguel Martinez Toyo in 2, James Scully in 3, Andrew Mullen in 4, Ricardo 10 in 5, Miguel Luque in 6, Lyndon Longhorn 7, Zul Abdullah in 8, and Jameri Siga in lane number 9. Oh, great swim there by Andrew Mullen. He means business this time. British record stands at 39.21. Andrew Mullen on his way home. British record under threat here. And it is 39.52. He's 0.3 of a second outside his own British record. 694 points there. But Andrew Mullen, well, that may well go tonight, because that was pretty impressive for the heat swim this morning. Mullen followed home by Zul Abdullah. Abdullah was the first Malaysian medalist ever in the World IPC Swimming Championships. And he is behind Andrew Mullen, 44.25 for the Malaysian.
It's Mullen with 694 points that secures the heat win. As Paul said, not far outside record time, so we'll be keenly watching that one a little bit later on. Andrew Mullen from Zul Abdullah, from Martinez Tajulo.
And that time by Andrew Mullen is inside the qualification standard. So well done, Andrew Mullen. Another qualification standard for the GB team for the European Championships, achieved by Andrew Mullen. Well done, Andrew.
So you can see the official result of our final heat here on the last day, the last heat session of the British Para-Swimming International Meet 2004. From myself, Alan March, and Paul Noble and Kate Gray, you'll see us all and you'll hear us all tonight in the very final session of this meet. Remember, we start at 5 to 4 on the live stream. Get yourselves in the venue a little bit earlier than that as well. You might be the person that wins the prize from Kate Gray. To all of you in the venue, thank you very much for your continued support. You've been fantastic at the live stream. Have a very good afternoon from Tollcross officials. You may leave the poolside.